I'm Sides, and in this video, I want to talk about drum progressions. When I first started producing, drum progressions were the most daunting for me. Even though I had been singing in bands my entire life, I had no idea how to construct a drum progression. Once I learned, that was really the game-changing moment for me, the aha moment. The moment where I was like, I can do this, I can make songs, I can make demos, I can be a producer. So I'm gonna jump in, break it down for you, and I can't wait to hear what you guys can come up with these techniques. Let's jump into the DAW.
Welcome to the DAW. Okay, first I want to count out the counts in 4/4. So I'm in 4/4, which means 4 beats per measure. So if I was gonna put my metronome on, let's say this is this here is measure 1. I'm just gonna zoom in. They actually calculated the numbers for you. So this is beat 1, this is beat 2, this is beat 3, and this is beat 4. So let's say I put the metronome on. Let's listen to it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, cool. We got that. So let's load up a drummer. I'm going to show you what a typical drum kit would look like, right? I'm going to go over here to where it says instruments, and I'm going to click drum kit, and I'm just going to pick the SoCal one. Now if you press P, you can see on the side that the drum kits are labeled. So if you're using a MIDI keyboard, the kick is actually on C1. The snare is on D. Okay, cool. I'm just going to write them in. So I'm going to start with 1. So typically in pop music, a standard pop progression is the kick is on 1 and 3. So I'm just going to place the kick on 1 and 3. I'm just going to draw it in. Cool. Let's listen to what this sounds like. Amazing. So the snare typically hits on beats 2 and 4. So I just drew in some notes if you're using Logic, by just holding down Option to copy and paste them into the spot. So now let's listen to what this sounds like. If you want to see what it looks like on the score, this is what it looks like. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Alternating between kick and snare. Now I'm going to add hi-hats. So hi-hats in this standard are typically on every 8th note. So 8th note is half of a quarter note, right? So if we were going to count this out, the 8th note has to be in between here. So let me show you. And I want to use the close hi-hat for this. Okay, so I put them on the 8th note, which means for each bar, there's 2 of them, right? So it'd be, if we were counting it out, it'd be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So let's listen to it. Now to add some variation, I like to take this last hi-hat and make it into an open hi-hat. Okay, let's listen to that. Pretty standard beat, super easy to make. So now let's say we want to add something different, right? What you can try to do is you can put the kick on every quarter note. So you make it 4 on the floor. Let me show you what that sounds like. So I'm just going to move this one here, this one here. Now let's listen to it. That's a little bit more of a dancier type beat. Now let's try alternating the hi-hat. So it's every other one is open hi-hat. Let's hear how that sounds like. So that's a little bit more of a disco beat, right? Okay, now you want to add a little bit more variety. Let's get a little bit crazy. Leave the snare and the hats in the same spot, and now you can move around the kick a little bit. So let me see if I move this kick here, mess around with different kick spots. Let's move this one here. Let me add one at the end here. I'm just doing this at random. Let's hear how it sounds. Pretty cool, right? So that's really all it takes. Now you kind of have a beat, you know? Like let's say you want to add a quick drum fill. Try doing something like this. Let's hear how that sounds. See, I'm just kind of like messing around and trying out different things. And I'm just using my ears, just moving different stuff around. And this is basically the format. And now I can add stuff and take stuff away. So that is one way you can create a drum pattern. Another thing I like to do is, let me delete this whole section. And I like to try using Step Sequencer. So Step Sequencer is really cool in Logic, and it's a really quick way that you can build these drum patterns. So this is 16 steps. So 16 steps is one measure, right? So when I'm going to be doing a one measure pattern. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's going to do the same pattern over how many times I tell it to, which in this thing is 4 bars. So this is what this would sound like. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's add the snare on beats 2 and 4. Okay, so now I added the hi-hats in. Now I'm going to add an open hat. Oh no, that's a tom. See, I'm just kind of messing around with the original principles and trying different stuff out and seeing what I think sounds cool. And now let me see if I mess around with the kick. Now let me double the snare with a clap. Super cool, super easy to start building some drum progressions. Then you can kind of mess around with these. You can try like a note repeat. Note repeat is really cool, like for the hats if you want to make those kind of like trap hats, or just like a stutter. Let's hear. Can you guys hear it? Listen to it. Pretty cool. There's a bunch of other cool things that you can try in here too. You could do chants. So since it's only, one bar, maybe in this 4-bar phrase, this will only play 30% of the time or 32% of the time, because no drummer is going to play the hi-hat every single time on beat right away. So that's a really cool thing you can try. See how it skipped it that time? So that's what's really cool with this chance one.
So I really hope that helps. Now try sticking with this formula. Start by putting the kick on beats 1 and 3, the snare on beats 2 and 4, the hats on every 8th note, and then an open hat on the last 8th note. and then you can kind of mess around and try some new things and try some new patterns. I'll be posting a new video every Tuesday. Subscribe if you'd like to learn more, and comment if there's something specific you want me to make a video on. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.